I'm Suzanne Donadio, and this is my daughter, Alexandra Donadio. She's 10 years old this year. August 1st, 2006 is her birthday. She's my first child, and she was born 3 months premature. Unfortunately, she was great for a preemie, but she got E. coli, meningitis, sepsis while she was in the NICU. She had bleeding go on in her brain, and it's a miracle that she even survived. When all of that bleeding resolved, she had something called hydrocephalus, which is basically water on the brain. So she did have her first shunt placed for hydrocephalus back August in 2006. Since then, she came home from the hospital. She had many shunt malfunctions and many surgeries. Her neurologist was here in Hackensack, and he said to us, "How come you don't see Dr. Freed?" And I'm like, "Dr. Freed?" I didn't know who he was. It's not something ever need to know is where's a pediatric neurosurgeon? Where am I going to find a good doctor for my daughter? So living right in Nutley, it worked out convenient. We consulted with Dr. Freed, and she's been in his care ever since. She's had, I can't even count how many surgeries, probably at least 30 altogether in her lifetime. And unfortunately, with her hydrocephalus was very complicated. She had many pockets of fluid in her brain, and she started to have seizures that were uncontrollable. And it got to a point in, Dr. Freed helped her, her first surgeries with him were, she grew, so her tube wasn't long enough. She had calcification in a tube, so he introduced himself to Alex in that way, changing out her tubes and her shunts. And then unfortunately in 2012, Alex had horrible seizures, and her problem was she was getting a lot of fluid in each pocket of fluid in her brain, and it became an emergency where Alex was projectile vomiting. We weren't able to wake her up. Her respiratory was affected, and we ended up in the hospital pretty much every week between April of 2012 through June of 2012. Every week she was having a surgery, and Dr. Freed and his group, you just can't say enough good things about them. No matter what time of day I called, whenever it was an emergency and we ended up in the emergency room, somebody always managed to come down there. I don't know where, they just appeared from nowhere, whether it was Terry or Dr. El Kashab or him himself. There was one Sunday night that we were in the emergency room, and she was really bad. She was crying and in a lot of pain. I'm sorry. So he was on his cell phone, and he said, "I'll be right there," and he did. And so he came in, and he heard her crying in pain, and he said, "Is she in pain?" And I don't know how he did it, but it was a Sunday night, and you just don't expect someone to come in. But the care and compassion is just second to none. So we owe him her life. We have great courage and confidence in the fact that she's gonna need more surgeries. It's inevitable. I know she's growing, she's gonna need more tubes. That little shunt will malfunction. And I'm just comfortable in the fact that we've got what we think are the best doctors possible taking care of our child. And that's pretty much the best we can do. We get up every day and we do the best we can to take care of not only her, but her two younger sisters. Just the confidence of knowing they're a phone call away. He saved her life, and that's something every parent should consider, just consulting with him, because you will get second to none the best care, honest opinions, and if he can help someone, he absolutely will. The entire group is nothing but professional, so I can't say enough good about them, and I thank them from the bottom of my heart for having my daughter.